Hi, this is Techakanont from Thammasat University. My co-author, Tasani Homgrin, is from Chiang Mai University. We would like to thank Faculty of Economics Research Fund for financing this research project. In this presentation, we will explain about our progress work on the towards a circular economy for end-of-life vehicle management in Thailand. And in this paper, we will discuss three things. First, we would like to give you some idea about the status of the Thai automobile industry with particular emphasis on the market. And the second, about the circular economy initiatives in Thailand, what have been done in the past. And the last one is about our field surveys on consumers' opinions, understanding awareness, and acceptance on the ELV laws that may be introduced in the near future. Let's start with the first one. This is the pattern of production, sales, and export. What I would like you to see is that this industry, we have only 6 decades of the development. From 1961, we produced just 500 units, with the domestic sale about 6,800 units sold in that year. But last year, after the COVID-19, the production recovered and we produced 1.6 million, with the domestic sales about 700,000. So we have gone a long way. After 6 decades, Thailand can secure the number 10 of the world automobile production and the number 1 in Southeast Asia. We're interested in this topic because of the growing domestic sales over the past 10 years. As you can see the graph that from 2010 up to present, the sales per year is larger than 700,000 units per year. Let's make the accumulated number of the sales from 1961 to 2021. The total number is 22.4 million units. And number of registered car at the end of 2021 is about 18.2 million. So that means over the course of 60 years, only 4.2 million has been removed from the system. Why it is so? Based on our past research, we found that this is because of the institutional factors. Thai people use car longer because there's no ELV regulations in Thailand. And there are a lot of small garages that are ready to fix and repair if your car gets broken. So that's why Thai people can use car longer. But the problem is, when the car reach its end-of-life stage, the ELV flow in Thailand produced some problems. When they operate, they did not take into account about their activities that produce negative externalities. The red one on the slide, it shows that part of the depollution that has some negative externality, like the CFC, they release to the air. Some used oil, they do not have the good facility to prevent that oil leakage onto the ground. So this is kind of economic inefficiency. So because of this, the Thai government start thinking about how to introduce the ELV management practice in Thailand. That is our second point. Even though we don't have the ELV law, we adopt SDGs into our 20 years National Strategy Framework and 5 years National Economic and Social Development Plan. From 2021, Thailand has opted for BCG model as well. And in that, it includes the circular economy. They focus only in 4 sectors and no ELV laws on this. But if you're looking at the basic law or act in Thailand, even though we don't have the direct regulation on ELV, but we have 3 main acts that has defined or put some penalty on person or owner who abandon their car illegally. These 3 acts, we might say that they are quite passive. For example, in the last one, the Act on the Maintenance of the Cleanliness and Orderliness in 1992, it defined that the car wreckage, not only car actually, it's motorbike, machine, ship, and other vehicles, And if they throw away in the public space, the owner shall be fined 5,000 baht. As you can see on this slide, the problem of the car illegally abandoned in the public space is quite serious. So in Bangkok, just early this year, that the officer tried to remove all these ELV from the street. From the news, we find that there are about 800 or almost 1,000 units that need to be removed. So this is actually the problems of the ELV in Thailand. There was international collaboration between Thailand and Japan, and between public and private. For the Thai government, this is responsible by the Ministry of Industry, and for Japan, this is METI. And under the Ministry of Industry, Department of Industrial Works, who control about the factory in Thailand, they work with NEDO in Japan. And for the private sector, we found that Toyota has put in annual report that they would like to do some recycle in Thailand. So the collaboration between public and private is work like this. At the top level, Ministry of Industry and METI, they work together. And lower levels, Department of Industrial Work and NEDO, they work closely with the link to the Toyota in Thailand, Toyota 2 Show and Green Metal Thailand. Green Metal Thailand start their pilot project, and the capability is like about 20 to 25 ELV treatment per day. But they face problems because they cannot obtain the ELV from the market. On this slide, this is the current model of Honda Civic. It had the serious damage from the accident. So the insurance company sold this car through the auction. And this firm, they auctioned for this ELV about 100,000 Thai baht, or equivalent to 3,300 US dollar. So this is quite expensive. The pilot project could not obtain the ELV for their operation. So the third point, this is the result of our field survey we conduct during April and May. This year, we get 197 complete sets of questionnaire. And the research framework is like, we want to see the degree of the understanding or the knowledge on the ELV, the proper management practice. It leads to the level of awareness, and whether the awareness leads to the degree of acceptance on ELV recycling program. So we will do some tests on this at the end. So let me explain about our finding first. The first one is quite obvious that there's some relationship between income level and the type of car used. So the second, we want to see the reason why people change their car to a new one and what happened when they stop using those old cars. The first two bars, you can see that people tend to buy a new car because they want to drive a newer model, or they may have change in their utilization. But the third and the fourth bars is about the problem. Because the car gets older, it may require higher maintenance costs, or the owner may find that their car was broken, so they just sell it as is. So the red color, it explains what did these people do when they stop using the car, so they sell to the used car market. If you see in the pie chart, you will find that 63 out of 111 sample is about almost 60%. They sell their old car to the used car market. And among this, some are the car that had problems, high maintenance costs. So this car will go to the used car market. So what is the implication on this? We can expect the lemon market or the adverse selection problems because of the asymmetric information between the buyer and the seller. Okay, the last one is about the willingness to participate if the government introduced ELV recycling programs. Our sample, majority of them, they agree. but about 22 to 23% they disagree, but some they disagree and they are not willing to pay the fee. So this is the concern that the government need to be careful when they want to introduce the regulation or law. Okay, based on our finding, we see there are some problems, and the regulation and law towards ELV management are crucial. This needs to be done in the future because the government aims at circular economy. We conduct some statistical analysis on this, and in the paper, as you can read, we present the mean standard deviations and intercorrelation of the study variables, and we found that there's low level of understanding of the ELV laws and practice from our sample. And this is not surprising because in the past we have no laws or regulations related with the ELV. So people tend to have little knowledge about this. But regarding the awareness of the ELV problems, our sample revealed that they have high level of awareness, and it leads to highly acceptance on the ELV regulation in the future, as we present earlier. So what our result shown is that we cannot see the direct effect from the understanding to the degree of acceptance, but it can be the mediation effect. If we can increase the awareness towards the proper ELV management practice, it can lead to the higher the degree of acceptance on the ELV recycling program. So in this case, as we find that institutional factors are important. So if the government, like developing country, like Thailand, that has no regulation before, they need to be very careful when they want to promote or introduce the ELV regulations. Okay, this is the concluding remarks. For Thailand, ELV problems will be more serious in the foreseeable future. Second, the government try to promote SDGs and circular economy. To be successful, ELV regulation are crucial. And what are the things that the government should do? To change the institutional factors like the tax reform may be necessary. They need to improve the deregistration system. And in order to make all the players in the value chain able to adjust, adapt themselves, technical supports to ELV value chain are crucial. And the last one is from our statistical analysis. If the government can improve the awareness of the people, this will lead to a higher degree of acceptance if the ELV recycling program is introduced. Thank you. This is all of our progress in this paper. If you have any question, you can email to me or leave your comment in the box below.